It was one time I got I told you I'm on a busy street, and there's
Yep.
a stop sign from the not as busy street onto the busy street. And I get a knock on the door, and it's the police. And she says to me, "We've gotten a complaint that you're parked too close to your stop sign." And I went, are you kidding me? She goes, "I'm just doing my job. I have to follow it up." And I said, "People have time to worry about that I'm parked too close to a stop sign in front of my house?" She's like, "You know, the law is the law. Why don't you go ahead and just move it?" So I went and figured out what the law was
Okay.
and measured exactly that distance back from the stop sign, and that's where I parked my car every day. Because somebody had time to complain.
Is it 30 feet?
It must, something like that, yeah.
Okay.
And I just marked it in my flower bed, and
Okay.
I just parked right up to it every single day. She just laughed with me. She's like, "Just go move your car," and yes, people have that much time to complain.
I thought I'd have more time being retired, but I'm just as busy as I was before.
Well, good, so you're not calling the cops on your neighbors whose grass is an inch too high.
No.
Yeah, that's what I hear people say all the time. They go, I'm retired and I don't know how I had time to work. So what are you busy doing in retirement?
No, I've always got too much going on. Yesterday, I sold Mom's car. She decided not to drive anymore. She's 90. And,
Tell her I said thank you.
my brother had been telling her for a little while now, so she finally said okay. And,
That's a hard thing to do.
oh, yeah. So yesterday and today's kind of a gloomy day at the house, you know.
Oh, does she live with you? Or
Yeah.
you live with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, so, but.
Well, did you set her up with an Uber or Lyft account?
I'm the Uber.
Okay.
Don't you have to have a smartphone to do Uber?
You do, except I don't know if they still have it, I think Google for a while had this thing called Go-Go Grandparents or something,
Okay,
where they could do it over the phone.
okay.
So I don't know if they still do, but
She doesn't have a smartphone.
not as many people her generation don't.
Right.
My mom's not a grandparent and she uses Go-Go Grandparent.
Oh, so it's still going? It's still
It
there?
is, yeah.
Okay.
She turned 67 yesterday, so
Hmm.
she's just not really into the smartphone thing.
Yeah, so they have, so when I have that conversation with my patients, I tell them it's not nearly as bad as it was 2 decades ago when you didn't have that, Uber or Lyft or,
Yep.
and it all fell to the kids, but. So was it a Buick?
Of course. A beige Buick Century.
Okay.
And she bought that one new in 2001, and it only had 54,000 miles on it.
In 18 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, so,
Someone got a good deal.
yeah, it's somebody that my mom and I both know. And his son needed one, a car, so. And of course, it was spotless inside and out. And I gave him a good price on it too, so.
One happy kid.
Yep.
Well, except it is a Buick.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Buick, don't write me any letters. Have we ever taken an x-ray on you to see if you have a little extra bone right there?
I don't believe we have.
So just for the sake of education, I won't charge you for it, would you be willing to let us take a couple views of what's underneath these?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
because I feel that too when you push there, or when I push there at depth.
Yeah, so when you have the little teeny cores
Yeah.
within them, it means that there's something directly under that.
Okay,
And it could, on this one, it could just be the shape of the bone,
okay,
because the bone's kind of pointy. But on this one, I bet there's a little extra bone that's sitting underneath it. So, yeah, let's do an x-ray and I'll include it with the video and we'll see what's going on under those.
okay.
All right, and then, yeah, because you got the same one here, but it doesn't have those two little spots in it like the right foot does.
Okay.
Thank you. So you going to see the president tonight?
No. Was thinking about buying one of those t-shirts though.
Oh, the cops one?
Yeah.
Police one?
Yeah.
I was outside yesterday and I saw two big, huge planes that were all black
Mm-hmm.
coming in, flying into the airport overhead, and I just assumed that was the motorcade vehicles
Right.
coming.
Right.
Yeah. And there may have been more, I only saw the two.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to go downtown for any business or anything, because with the roads being blocked and all the people and traffic and whatnot, it would just be hell getting through there. I normally don't have to go downtown for any business anyway, but you know, today would be a
You're
bad
retired.
day.
Yeah. Almost as bad as when the Twins and the Vikings play on the same day, right?
Yeah,
Does that ever happen?
yeah, once in a while.
It could have happened this year if they didn't lose and.
Oh, it's too bad they couldn't have.
These are the actual patient x-rays where I was looking for a large prominence on the bottom of the bone where I don't see one. I don't see anything in particular that looks out of place. By the same token, this is where that little accessory bone often sits underneath the big toe joint, and I don't see one there either. I'd like to introduce you to my foot bones. This is the skeleton that I was given as a first-year student more than 30 years ago in podiatry school. I doubt they do this anymore. I don't think you can get the real bones, but I'm bringing this up for a reason. This is a right foot, if you look at it this way. And so this is just like the patient that we were working on. This is the 5th metatarsal bone, and this is the baby toe right here. So the area where he had the callus, where that arrow pointed on the x-ray, was right here. And what I wanted to show you is that if you look underneath, these bones are not flat on the bottom. They have these little prominences and points. And usually there is a good fat pad that sits underneath here. And these metatarsal heads are what make up the ball of the foot. In this patient's case, he doesn't have a lot of fat padding over here, and so these little prominences are poking down through the skin from the inside, and then the ground pushes up against them from the outside, and the skin gets caught in between, so it forms that large callus with those two little points in it that correspond to the points on the bottom of that bone. I hope that explains what we were talking about. As far as a similar callus under the big toe, well, let's flip this over and see what we can see under here. This is your big toe joint right here, and these are the two bones in your big toe. Where that little bone sits is usually right here, and on the x-ray he didn't have one. So what that would mean is that underneath these bones here, there is something on his bone that is a prominence that is causing the same kind of pressure we saw over this metatarsal head. But in this toe bone, he's obviously got something that we didn't see on the x-ray that's pushing against the skin from the inside, again causing that callus to form on the bottom underneath there.